Hello, everyone. This is Enrique Castallanos with the original Next Level Gaming Podcast. Thank you again for joining me today. I am presenting my review of the video game The Swindle by Size 5 Games. Now, The Swindle is actually a platformer slash action slash stealth game set in a Victorian steampunk world, actually in London. And the game places you and your bandits of thieves in London, and you have the ability to rob 6 neighborhoods. Now, the game's actually pretty. One thing you'll notice about the game immediately that has a very nice artistic appeal to it. Kind of has a rustic appeal. I love that kind of cel-shaded, cartoonish approach. It's definitely a breath of fresh air from the more serious, AAA gaming titles that I typically play on my console. So it was definitely a visually nice change of pace to see this character design. I think the developer did a great job in designing not just the characters, but even some of the enemies or the different levels that you'll be playing in. Now, as I mentioned, you play a group of thieves, and your goal is to break into these building structures and avoid getting caught, as most thieves do, and collecting money. And so it's not as easy as it sounds, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. But first I want to talk about just the overall gameplay. The game's really easy to pick up and play. You can actually pick up your controller, and you have your character has the ability to jump, double jump, kind of tiptoe, and then of course you have your trusty melee attack where you use to defuse some of the security guards that are pacing back and forth. Now, one of the things I actually do like that I thought was kind of it's a little cheesy, but I definitely liked it, is that you arrive to your location in a rocket ship, and it lands, and you come out, and there you are approaching the building or the neighborhood that you're trying to rob. So as I mentioned earlier, there's security guards there, and these security guards have like batons, and they look like police officers that you would see roaming a neighborhood or walking the beat, if you will. And they illuminate these like yellow beams, and these beams are their field of vision, and the part where you can't. These beams really let you know how far or how close you can get to them without being caught. So, and that's a trick. At times you'll see multiple police officers or guards in one room pacing back and forth at different speeds, and sometimes they'll have these other robots that I don't even know how to describe them. They look like robotic dolls in some kind of way. That illuminating beam that if you trip them, can set off the alarm too. And that's where things get a little bit tricky with this game. If you set off the alarm, you're going to get caught, or you can potentially get caught. So my recommendation is to kind of hightail it back to the rocket ship that you came in and fly back up to base. Because if you don't and you get caught, you're going to die, and then you're going to lose the money that you collected. And that's the frustrating part, or the most difficult part of the game. One that I found a little bit challenging early on, especially as you're trying to ramp your character skills up and you're trying to unlock other levels. It does get a little challenging, and the ramp up period can be slow. Now, there are 6 levels in this game. All the levels are procedurally generated, which is kind of cool. It definitely adds to some variety to this particular game. And I can't think of another game right now off the top of my head, especially a platforming game that used procedurally generated levels like this. I'm sure there's some out there, but I just can't think of any right now. If you can, please leave them in the comment section below. I would definitely love to hear about them. But so the procedurally generated levels can actually work in your favor or work against you. When they work in your favor, you'll find that it's pretty easy to find and access loot without getting caught. When they don't work in your favor, you'll find that some of the locations of the money or loot are hard to get into, because either your character can't get to it because you don't have the right upgrades, or if you do get to it, you can't get out, and therefore you get caught. And then again, if you get caught, you die, you lose your money. So the procedural element of the game, and just regenerating some of these levels, is really cool, and I definitely like that. I think it adds to a little bit of variety to a game that if it didn't have it, I would imagine would probably get a little bit repetitive in nature. So, as I mentioned, there's upgrades in this game. There's skill tree where you can upgrade your agility, your abilities, your tools, your goggles, and there's a miscellaneous upgrade tree as well. And all these things definitely go into making the gaming experience more enjoyable for you, and making it a little bit easier as you start, getting into some of these more, lucrative levels. As you start unlocking other levels, they definitely are more lucrative. You do find yourself getting more loot. So, in that regard, that skill tree really does come in handy, and kind of adds like an RPG element to the game. So, I definitely think the foundation for a good platformer is here in the Swindle. As I mentioned, the mechanics are there. It's easy to pick up and play. The characters and level designs are very appealing in a true 2D platform fashion. The upgrades are great. That definitely adds again to that enjoyability of the game, and kind of alleviates some of the frustration you may have. But I think if you're someone who is just looking for something more casual to pick up and play, this might not be the game for you. But if you're looking for something challenging and something to kind of break away from the norm of some of the AAA games we're so used to playing, this is definitely a game that you're gonna want to check out. And of course, if you're a huge fan of platformers, you're definitely going to want to check this game out as well. So I give this game a 7 out of 10. And, again, if this is a game that you're interested in and checking out, and you enjoy challenges, again, I really recommend this to you, or at least, worth checking out as well. So thank you again for stopping by. Appreciate your time. Please make sure to subscribe to our channel. We definitely appreciate the support, and any feedback as well. We always welcome feedback at the Original Next Level Gaming Podcast. And also be sure to check out some of our more recent podcasts that have just come out. My colleague Mike Mullis, Brian aka Warrior Words, we just dropped a podcast this past week talking about some of the new game releases that came out this week. As you know, Until Dawn came out this week. And the Gears of War Ultimate Edition came out as well, so you definitely want to check that out. And, as always, we're continuing to work on some new reviews. I'll be working on another game here shortly, and I hope to get to that review to you all as well. So thank you again for stopping by. Please leave any comments in the comment section. And remember, gamers, play on.